In this video, I'll be talking to you guys about Chuck Close, an American painter and photographer born in Monroe, Washington on July 5, 1940. Close is best known for his gigantic close-up portraits based on photographs. These are two very different examples of his paintings. Interestingly enough, he has face blindness, which means he has trouble recognizing and remembering faces. He felt drawn to create portraits of friends and family because painting gave him the ability to flatten out the face two-dimensionally, making it much easier to commit the faces to memory. Close also has severe dyslexia, and growing up he struggled in all of his classes except for art. Art became the one class where he could find solace. At the age of 11, his father passed away. Close says now that, oddly enough, there was a gift in that tragedy. He learned from a very early age that the absolute worst thing can happen to you and you will get past it and you will be happy again. Still, Close struggled in school. In the 8th grade, he was told not to even think about going to college. He went on to receive a bachelor's degree from the University of Washington and a master's of fine arts from Yale. His work began to be shown in important New York galleries and at the Whitney Museum of American Art in the late 1960s. In the early 1970s, he was exhibiting in prestigious international exhibitions. By 1980, he was widely recognized as an important figure in contemporary American art. Today, publications surveying contemporary art history routinely discuss his painting, and most modern art museums in the US and Western Europe feature his work in their collections. His early painting techniques even inspired the development of the inkjet printer. His early work was photorealist. Photorealism is a painting and drawing style that is so realistic it resembles photography. Believe it or not, both of these images are gigantic acrylic paintings. So how did he even do that? He works from a photo and uses gridding, the exact same method we have been using for our pen and ink word drawings. Notice how tiny his grid is. What's interesting though is that in his later works the grids actually become a part of the painting. So like our pen and ink drawings, what might seem like a single unified image from far away actually gets a whole lot more interesting when you look at what the values are actually made of, like this self-portrait that is made of pixel-like rainbow blobs of color. Or this oil painting of his grandmother painted entirely with his own fingerprints. He adjusted the different values by putting more or less paint on his finger and varying how hard he pressed down on the paper. Then, that's when the story gets crazy. In 1988, when Close was 48 years old, he felt a strange pain in his chest. He suffered a seizure from a blood clot in his spinal column that left him paralyzed from the neck down. Close often refers to this as the event. But did that stop Close from painting? Not at all. Close went to physical therapy to strengthen his muscles and eventually had slight movement in his arms. He continues to paint with a brush strapped onto his wrist with tape. In some of his most recent works, he uses scribbles to achieve value. Although these were made using a printmaking technique called etching, the final result is a lot like the project y'all are working on right now. I wanted to leave you with one of my favorite quotes from Chuck Close about the creative process. The advice I like to give young artists, or really anybody who'll listen to me, is not to wait around for inspiration. Inspiration is for amateurs. The rest of us just show up and get to work. If you wait around for the clouds to part and a bolt of lightning to strike you in the brain, you are not going to make an awful lot of work. All the best ideas come out of the process. They come out of the work itself. Things occur to you. If you're sitting around trying to dream up a great art idea, you can sit there a long time before anything happens. But if you just get to work, something will occur to you, and something else will occur to you, and something else that you reject will push you in another direction. Inspiration is absolutely unnecessary, and somehow deceptive. You feel like you need this great idea before you can get down to work, and I find that's almost never the case. So, now what? All Close is saying is to make it happen. And the only way to make it happen is by doing. So what I'm telling you guys is to go forth and make art.